Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to a very unusual BMTV. Obviously, in this situation that we're all currently in, we are using, I was going to say Skype, we're not, we're using Zoom, and I'm joined today by John and Sue Bowler. So, John, Sue, hello, welcome.
Hi, Greg.
And thank you for doing this. I just really wanted to talk to you about, well, a bit of a catch-up, really. What's happening? Quite a lot has been happening, and of course the situation across the globe at the moment. And yeah, really just have a catch up. So first of all, how are things with you?
Very good, actually. As you probably are aware, last week was quite a busy week with the Q Corner convention.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of us very occupied. Obviously, primarily Keith and Dom being up for 5 continuous days, but
yeah, how did they sleep?
They really didn't.
Oh, really? Wow.
They survived. I spoke to them quite earlier on in the week privately, and they just said that anything more than about 25 minutes just made them feel really, obviously they would have gone into a deep sleep and just made them feel not well, or just groggy. So they stopped doing that. So they literally, I think the maximum, when they added all the hours together, I think they had about 4 hours sleep each.
Oh, wow.
No, crazy, eh?
It's amazing what the human body can do when it has to. They've probably still not woken up since the end of that, though, have they yet? So no, it was amazing. It was I know it had its challenges, but to see the speed at which that was put together, I think the Qualitex, Keith and Dom, everybody involved has to be applauded to get people across the world in a number, not even a couple of weeks, was it? It was just so well done. So yeah, it was well done to everybody.
Very good. They worked very hard at it, and I think they pulled it off.
Yeah.
All the feedback that I've seen and heard has been extremely positive. Everybody seemed to love it, which is great.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Well, I think what's amazing is this has happened because of the situation that we're in now. But I think we will all do things in a different way, like this, for instance. And you've come to us before. We've sat down. We've had a chat. Doesn't necessarily mean we'll do that every time we want to have a chat in the future. Could end up doing this on a more regular basis. From your house to our house, and it could be that simple. And people working from home as well. So yeah, I think
necessity brings change, and it's. I think we'll see a lot of changes when we come out the back end of this, and they'll stick. They may be light, they may be just the odd bits and pieces, but there will definitely be changes. All over, not just in our industry, but literally everywhere. And we'll see that.
Well, before we talk about the coronavirus, because we do have to talk about it, obviously, and the industry and how we think it's going to affect the industry, but I'd like to be a little bit more light-hearted and find out what you think some of the benefits are that have come from this.
Well, I don't know if it's anything to do with it, but the sun seems to have come out.
Yeah, I know. It's weird though, isn't it? Because really, trying to keep everybody in their homes, we could do with the weather we had really a month ago or a few weeks ago. That would have been better. But but I think it is. I think that there are certain advantages. One thing for me, working from home for the last week and a half or whatever it is, a couple of weeks now, is that I've been able to have lunch with the family every single day. And I've not, obviously, normally I'm at work and the girls are at school and Rach is at home or at work, and we don't always have lunch together. And even at weekends, the girl's teenager, she comes down and just grabs whatever she wants and shoots back up to a cave, and then we've got Sophie that'll just take ages to eat anything, and it's just really nice that we've all been able to sit down and eat. So that's, I don't know, I'm not really looking for the benefits or saying that it's a good thing, but some good things do come out of it. And I just wondered if you'd noticed anything more personally, other than you obviously bringing the weather.
Yes, it's. I mean, you've obviously got to look for the benefits in these kind of situations. I think if you look at all the negatives, then you'll go into depression. But I think if you find positives to come out of it, then that's a benefit. That's a bonus. And for me, it's I haven't stopped working, and I've had a lot of things to do, and we've done offers to members which have kept me busy. But I think it also gives me an opportunity to try and talk to members. Some people haven't received their emails, so I'm going to start making phone calls to them. So a direct phone call, it'll be great. I'm happy to talk to people. So it gives me that opportunity. It'll give me an opportunity to catch up with work that I haven't had time to do before.
Yeah.
I can get on with that. And it makes us look, I think, for other avenues. Recently, as you've seen, we posted a video about advertising videos that are available to me. Now, I don't think we would have found that resource had it not been for this situation, and yet it's a fantastic resource. It's so good, and you kind of wonder how we ever lived without it beforehand. We just had photographs. Now we can create videos which are professional, and I just think it's things like that. It makes us look for other ideas, other benefits, other resources. And when we find them, actually, wow, these are great. So that I like to look at the positive side of everything if I can. And that's things that I found recently. So for me, I will always look at the positives, and I'll find something out of anything.
I think the one thing that I've noticed, and this is nothing to do with the balloon industry, is how caring our communities are, and how people are really looking out for everybody. And where we've got elderly neighbours, we're making sure that they're okay, have they got the right shopping, just knowing, and for them to know that if they need help at any time, that they don't even have to really ask, it's going to be there for them. And I think that's really, really opened communities up into a much nicer place. Love thy neighbour, and really enjoy it. And then the Thursday night going outside at 8 o'clock.
Absolutely,
oh my goodness, I don't know about everybody else, but I get quite emotional about it. We do. So we're starting to appreciate things a lot better. The national health, what it means to us, and what an incredible job these guys are doing, and selflessly, they're up against it 24/7. So I think out of a bad situation, there is a lot of good. And I think, and I hope and pray that people remember this, that they don't just go back to normal, and all these wonderful things get forgotten. I think these sort of things should get remembered and continue to happen in the good times as well as the bad times. And I think they will in lots of cases. I think a lot of people will move on and try and pick up where they left off. But I think that's going to be a long time yet before we actually get any sort of normality back. I think, things will change and things will get better, but pure normality will take a long time. So, we should just keep helping and supporting each other.
I think it's really nice to see all these sort of articles and things about that kind of thing. I saw one yesterday, I read it, it was a little video, I think it was on the BBC, and it was about how these rival gangs in South Africa that have been killing each other for years and years and years, and the guys at the top of the pecking order, they phoned this pastor, this priest guy, and said, we're really struggling for food. And the pastor decided that, well, if the guys at the top of the food chain are suffering, that means everybody in the community is suffering. So they all came together. So these rival gangs coming together to help feed the community, and they're now off delivering food to everybody within their community. And it's stories like that would never, ever have happened if there hadn't been this situation. And that, it puts faith in humans again, doesn't it, really? I think that's what is nice.
It always brings people together. I mean, I know, we live in a village, and you can't walk down the street without saying hello to somebody. And, you go and queue up at the shop, and you all stand 2 meters apart. You meet people, you get to have a conversation with other people. People are accepting of it. You see everywhere you go, you see people standing in a queue, 2 meters apart, and they're smiling. They're not unhappy. They're bearing with it and doing the best they can. So it does bring out the good in people, I have to say.
I think there is an element of we are all in this together, so we've all got to do our bit. Obviously, there are some people, like I heard that there were 500 parties in Manchester last weekend that the police had to break up. What's going on there? What are people doing there? That's crazy.
Yeah,
But
some people just don't grasp the concept, do they? It's
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about it, because obviously this is affecting our industry as it is affecting every industry. What's your take on it and how it is affecting our industry, and what do you think we should be doing as an industry?
As an industry, I think the best thing we can do is try and support one another.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a tough road, because there's a long period of time where people have no income, and they've got to sustain their business if they can. If they have constant overhead such as shops or business premises, then they've got to continue to pay those bills and wait for the business to come back again. And in the meantime, all we can do is, I think, try and help one another to build the business, as in build awareness of their brand, build awareness of their customers, give them maybe some new designs that they can play with, they can look at, work on, and just be a bit more creative and come out with stuff that inspires them. And just keep reassuring everybody that we will all come through this and we'll come out the other side. And I'm not going to suggest for 1 minute that, on day one there will be mass parties and celebrations. People will be in the mood to celebrate once we come out the other side.
Absolutely.
And that's an opportunity for everybody in our industry.
Yeah. This is, I mean, I think that the temptation to not sit on your laurels, but maybe to take it a little bit easy on this sort of downtime is a false hope, situation. I think this is the time when you should actually be really, really busy and looking at every opportunity you possibly can. It's really important that we keep in contact with our customers to make sure that they know that we're still there and that we'll be there for them as soon as we're allowed to be again. And develop your websites. I'm working on a new website because for many years I've hated my website, but never had the opportunity to spend any time on it. So and like we were talking about that video app, that playing around with things like that, Canva, learning. I used to have the pro version, and then I stopped it some while ago because I thought, I'm not really using it properly. Well, I've gone straight back to it again because there are so many more facilities on the pro version, and also it's a way for me to support them. If companies like Canva do everything for free, then they're not getting any revenue to develop their software for the future. So it's a small price to pay to make my business look better and really produce some fantastic stuff. So this is it's a hard time. There is no denying that. And my heart breaks for all the businesses that are not earning money at the moment, because and it's not just our industry. Everyone's got pubs and restaurants around them whose doors are closed. And I'm in awe of how many of them have reinvented themselves and are now doing different schemes to keep their businesses alive. And I just think we've got to, it's such a hard time, and it's something that none of us would ever have expected to happen. And I think all we can do is desperately try and take the positives rather than the negatives, and work towards seeing the other side, getting to the end of that rainbow, and knowing that it's going to be good in the future. It's going to come back.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think people need to try and make the most of this time. And I'm not saying don't take some downtime. I think I've just been talking to some of the team today. We furloughed almost everybody, 18 of our team. And so I called them today. It's a couple of weeks since I've seen them. With a few of them, most of them actually were furloughed a couple of weeks ago. And I just wanted to see how they were doing, because it is an unusual situation. And some are literally taking the time to have some downtime. It's almost like it's an enforced holiday where you're not actually allowed to do anything. So if you're on holiday, imagine the school holidays or whatever, you feel the pressure to take the kids out, to entertain them, to do, it's not everybody that's got a family, but from a personal point of view, you do feel that pressure. Well, no, you don't have to worry about it. You still have to try and entertain the kids and don't have them sat in front of the TV all day. But it's this enforced, okay, I literally cannot leave the house. I cannot do anything. what do we do? And it's just literal downtime. Let your mind turn off. And some of the team have been playing computer games, and others have been playing board games, arts and crafts, things like that. And it really is an enforced holiday. But some of them are also teaching themselves new things. So Jim, that works in the warehouse, he's teaching himself piano. He's a musician already, but he's never learned the piano, and he's teaching himself the piano. And I think it's a great opportunity to do something. And from a business point of view, there's still lots you can be doing. I'm still working on how we're going to get through all of this and the government funding and all of that sort of stuff. And I had to do cash flow projections, and it's not anything really that we've done to this extent before. It's a really interesting exercise to see exactly. It forces you to look at your accounts in more detail than you might have looked at them before. So some, like you say, John, some good things can come out of this from your own business. And as for learning new apps, new software, it gives you that freedom, that time to actually have a look. You know, Google is an amazing tool. Just have to Google and find all sorts of things.
Well, I actually Googled earlier free apps during the coronavirus, and really interesting, something came up on Apple Insider, and they have listed virtually everything that's available. Not all are free, but all the, like, whether it's educational, whether it's for teaching children, whether it's for games, there's list upon list upon list, and direct links into them, which I thought was, you know, so all you need to do is just use a few creative keywords on Google search, and you can come up with some great things. And it's you know, there's a lot of resources out there.
So going back to our industry, are you, what do you think is going to happen, and what do you think we should be doing? Should we still be going to work, or should we be stopping temporarily? How long? I know it's the ultimate question. How long do you think this is going to go on for? And I realize none of us actually know, but what's your educated opinion?
Quite honestly, I would hate to take a guess at how long this will go on for.
Yeah,
I really, because it's, as you say, none of us know, and it would only ever be a guess. And I don't think I'm qualified to even hazard a guess at it.
I think I'd go so far as saying lockdown is not going to end on Monday.
I would probably agree with you on that. Yes. It'll take a while, and then there's all sorts of suggestions as to how it will finish. Whether it will be a slow rollout, or whether they'll just say, "Okay, everybody's free to go about their business as usual."
I don't see how that could happen though, because it just all come back. It'd all be the same, wouldn't it? So I think there will have to be still social distancing, extreme cleaning everywhere all the time. Who knows?
About small businesses being the first to be allowed to go back, that's really exciting from our point of view. I mean, there's so many different reports out there, and you're not quite sure which are true and which are false. But they were suggesting, the article that I read was that any business that had less than 50 employees, that would be the first rollout.
Okay.
To get them back up and running. And then they were talking about age groups as well, about the ones that could go back into, into this sort of big wide world, as it were, and socialise. But whether that will all change, I mean, it's like every day you read something different, and then the next day it changes again. So never quite sure. But we're always looking for the positives, and that was quite a positive thing to read.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting scenario to watch, because it will have, if they do as Sue suggests there, allow smaller business to open first. For me, that's a great thing, because I think it would be good for smaller business. I mean, that's the other benefit that's come out of this whole thing that I've seen, is that people are using local shops and local businesses more. So where we have in the village some small shops, we've always tried to support them, but now more than ever, we're using them, whenever we go shopping, which we're trying to do to once a week. But so I think, that's, and if they can allow small business to roll out first, then again, that's got to be a good thing, because they can get a jump, if you like, on the bigger businesses, and it will help them kickstart their business and then continue forward into the future without having to battle against the big boys. So, I think that would be a good idea. But again, this is pure guesswork and supposition. We don't know what.
I know. And that's what I found doing cash flow projections. I was literally working on it for 2 weeks, and I've come up with 3 scenarios: opening in June or before, opening in September, and opening in January, which I really hope is not the case. And I very much doubt it. But honestly, none of us actually know, and it is going to be very, 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 very difficult for everybody. But as you alluded to earlier on, I think as humans, we like to look at innovation. We like to come up with different ways of doing things. And just when there was the helium crisis, however many years ago that was now, look how much air-filled design. In fact, I can see some right behind you. Air-filled designs.
These were from my class, from the convention, and they're still, this is over a week old now. And they're still just exactly the same as they were a week ago. And I just don't want to get rid of them, because I'd love to give them away or do something with them, but so they're just sitting there.
But they, maybe 8-9 years ago, you'd probably never have thought of designing something quite like that. And so we were forced into this, and you see so much. Rachel's at the moment outside with the girls inflating balloons to stick a rainbow up on the front of our house, as everybody is doing, which is great fun. And but who'd have thought of air-filled swags on the front of houses 10 years ago, 7-8 years ago? You just wouldn't. So I think innovation, some innovative solutions to problems that we didn't even realize we had, are probably going to come out of this, and I think it's good.
As you say, every time something comes along, people are always creative and innovating, and it's great. It actually, to a degree, we benefit from it.
Yeah. So what's your advice to people then during this? What should we all be doing as BAPIA?
For my advice, we have to take the health and safety of our members as our primary concern, without doubt. And based purely on that, we have to say, stay at home, stay safe.
Yeah.
Is our advice. At the same time, I can't judge people who are still operating, still working, because their needs, their circumstances will be different. Everybody is in a different position, and they have to judge their position for themselves. So it's not for me to determine what they should or shouldn't do, but at the same time, we simply say stay indoors and stay safe.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we came to the same solution. We were worried it was going to be a difficult decision whether to close or not, but it was ended up being very easy for me. The decision itself was very easy. I have a team of 20 people, and you want to protect them. A few of them were really genuinely worried about this a couple of weeks ago, to the point that their anxiety was way up here, and it just wasn't nice. You've got to keep the safety of your team and your customers at heart. So, and I didn't want to be seen to be promoting people to carry on going out and trading. But as you say, some people, you don't know everybody's situation, and you don't know anybody's situation. Everybody's situation is different. So I'm not really keen on the whole attacking of other people that people have been doing, saying you should be staying at home. This is ridiculous. I think it's very hard. My recommendation would be to stay at home. My recommendation would be to not operate. But as you say, everybody's situation is different. But do absolutely everything you can do. They're still saying you can go to supermarkets. Well, there's probably more people in a supermarket than if you're handing something over to somebody at the doorstep. So I kind of understand why people would still want to do it. And I still feel a little bit anxious now when I go to Tesco. I got shouted at by a woman because I went in her box the other day, her little taped off box that I wasn't supposed to go in. They'd already just put the tape on the floor, and I had no idea. And I was stood at the yogurts, and she was there, and I wanted the yogurt where she was, and I thought I'd give her some distance. And then she said, "You're in my box." I'm like, "Oh, really? Sorry." But I know now. Tesco are doing quite well, actually. They've got a one-way system up and down the aisles and things like that. So, yeah, I think I think that's probably the best advice. Stay at home, limit your contact with other people as much as you possibly can. And I think that's the key thing, as much as you possibly can. We all need to come in contact with people at some point. Just give them their 2 meters. I don't know about, well, you said actually people at the bus stop, people queuing up, giving each other distance. Where we are, whenever we do go out for a walk, you see people crossing the road so fast, but they still say hello, still wave at each other, and it's good. So, okay, so sorry, go ahead.
No, go on, carry on, Greg.
I was just going to ask you, so let's go beyond this. Let's assume that we all get through it and we get through to the other side. Have you got plans? I know it's quite hard to plan because we don't know when this is going to happen, but have you got long-term plans, both of you, about what you're going to be doing in the next year, 18 months?
I think for me, it will be going back to my normal training role and picking up where I left off. At the moment, I'm due to have some talks with the Pioneer Europe team next week, and we're going to discuss the training program and courses and the next step. So I think everybody's taken a couple of weeks just to get have the convention and then this week just to recover and catch up. And I think from next week we're going to start looking at the future and development and where we go from here. So no, I think it's all been very positive. Everybody, people that were due to come on courses with Balloon Market that I was going to be teaching, and other people still in contact with me saying, please let me know when they're up and running again. So I think everybody's still keen to learn. Yeah. And I honestly believe, Greg, that this is going to bring so much strength to the industry. I think that this is a fantastic opportunity for us all just to, recharge our batteries and take a step back, but look at the future. And things only can get better in terms of, let's think of all the education that people have been able to do online. Let's look at our websites that we've managed to make look better. Think of all the marketing that we've put in place. And things could go absolutely crazy. My daughter was due to get married, or still is due to get married in July, and that's sort of in the balance at the moment. Will it happen? Won't it happen? But all the brides that have had their weddings cancelled so far, they have all scheduled for the second half of the year. Everybody's going to want big celebrations, and it's going to be busy. I think we're going to be very busy.
I think you're right, and I think as well. I know I talked about cash flow projections, talked about doing your marketing, like you said, talked about the video app and everything. You kind of course, hone your skills. And talking about online training, well, all the Q Corner convention stuff, that's all still there. If you have, how many hours was it altogether?
120.
So if you've got 120 hours, there you go. You can watch the whole thing, and then of course there's BMTV. If you want to go back and look at BMTV, there's all of that. And Sue, we've worked together with the Balloon School Pro, which, by the way, that design behind you looks very suitable for the setting the scene course.
It does, and I thought it was the perfect opportunity to address the fact that I didn't actually make a centerpiece for the course.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, this is a nice bonus. So anybody who's already bought the program or is considering buying the program in the future, then at least they've got that design that they can add into it. And it just works so beautifully with it. So that was my thought process, that it was a real good bonus prize, as it were.
I have to say that course that you did, and I'm not saying this just because it's Balloon School Pro and you and whatever. It was so impressive. I think you were surprised and impressed yourself, though, weren't you? At the end of it, you stood back and you looked at what you'd created over those couple of days, and it is really amazing what you did. And I thought it was stunning.
Yeah, no, very proud. And I just think, and you know, the feedback I've had from people that have invested in it has been so good and so positive. They've said that they've really learned a lot from it, and you know that it's so easy to follow, and it's very sellable as well. So no, it's been all round, it's been fantastic. So
yeah, fantastic. Oh, well, while we're talking about Balloon School Pro, I nearly forgot, but obviously we've offered a 25% discount off all the courses on Balloon School Pro, with the exception of the Setting the Scene one, because that's the newest course. But that includes Mike Hurst's course as well. So if you go to Balloon School Pro on Vimeo, and you can see all the courses that are available. More are going to be available I'm not going to say very soon, but in the coming months. Let's say that. But yeah, we're quite excited about it. But I think, yeah, that Setting the Scene course you did, I think was fantastic, and the fact it was done specifically for Balloon School Pro, I think, made it so good. So thank you for that.
no, thank you. It was great fun doing it. It was really good.
Yeah, it was. Okay, John.
We had started working on a couple of projects before all of this kicked in. So the hope is that we'll pick up with those, and they could be interesting for members and non-members to get involved in. But generally, we're just looking to push forward to get more benefits for members, see what else we can do to help members, and particularly with, at the end of this whole situation, you know, I think they're going to want some more support in terms of what they can do to promote their business, market their business, and that's where we aim to be. We're looking to try and help them do that, and actually to promote the industry in general. So that's my goal really for this year. It would be nice, I think, if at some point I think we could all celebrate together at the end of the coronavirus in some way. So maybe that's another project we can look at and see what we can do. And we've got Gosh coming up at the end of the year again this year.
Yeah.
As long as everything's back to normal by then, but clearly that could be a very delicate situation.
I have to say, after a couple of weeks of feeling quite, I don't know, just subdued, I would probably describe myself, and any of the update videos I've been doing about the coronavirus, I felt quite subdued. But talking to the two of you again gets me quite excited about the future of what's going to happen. So thank you for getting me a little bit excited again. I appreciate it. But I think there is something to look forward to.
Positive. I think that's what it's about, is remaining positive and looking to the future and getting back to work, getting your business back on track, and then putting all of this behind us. But, you know, taking something from it, whatever that may be, take something out of it, learn something from it, benefit from it in some way if you can, and then look forward when it all comes back together again.
Okay, fantastic. Well, it's been really nice talking to the two of you again. Is there anything else you want to talk about before I sign off? Because I'm a little bit worried. I think I've only got an hour. First time I've used Zoom, so I hope this is recording to start with. But yeah, I just don't want to go over the time. But is there anything else you wanted to talk about? We've still got 15 minutes.
No, I think we're good. I think.
I just want to say to everybody out there, just, you know, try and stay as motivated and as positive as you possibly can. You know, we all have our moments. I can assure you, I have my moments. You know, when I shed a little tear of, you know, worry. But you know, we've got to be positive, and I think the best way to stay positive is to think of the future. Think about what you can do to help you and your business, and work with other people. Oops,
is that Milo?
Yes, Milo.
Milo, how you doing? I've never heard you bark before, Milo.
You come for 15 minutes of fame.
He actually made an appearance at in my class in the convention. But seriously, guys, it is this opportunity to keep connected with everybody. You know, if you're part of a balloon chat group, then, you know, talk to each other, keep motivated. As I said, it is so important. And if you're not feeling great, talk to somebody, you know, because there's a lot of people out there that will give you the support. And you know, we just need to support each other during these difficult times, really.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, thank you, both of you. I really do appreciate your time during this awful period. And like I say, it's cheered me up a little bit. So hopefully it'll cheer a few other people up there. Right. So everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing, and we'll see you next week. Bye. Excellent.